This is AP Calculus Homework Solutions, Section 2.2a. We're going to go over page 110, 1 through 47, odd. All right, so number one, you've got this graph here, but you're not really worried about the graph. You just take the derivative of the function and then plug in the x value to get the slope of the tangent line. So for number one, the function is x to the 1/2. Bring that 1/2 out front and subtract 1 from the exponent. That'd give you 1/2 x to the minus 1/2. If you want to bring that x to the minus 1/2 downstairs, it's 1 over 2x to the 1/2. And then we're going to, y prime of 1, we're going to plug in the x value, which is 1, into that to get the slope of the tangent line. That's 1 over 2 times 1 to the 1/2, which is just 1/2. All right, part B, the equation's x to the 3/2, so the derivative is going to be 3/2 times x to the 1/2. So subtract 1 from 3/2, and you'll get 1/2. That's 3/2. If you're not good with fractions, that'd be 3/2 minus 2/2, which is 1/2. Oop. Okay. So 3/2 times x to the 1/2, we're going to plug 1 in. That's the one way that you can denote that is y prime of 1. So 3/2 times 1 to the 1/2 is just 3/2. So 1/2 is the slope, 3/2 is the slope of the tangent line at the point 1. All right, y equals x squared for part C. Bring that 2 out front, subtract 1 from 2, and you just have 2x. So y prime of 1 would just be 2 times 1, which is 2. And then part D, y equals x cubed. The derivative of that, bring the 3 out front, subtract 1 from the exponent, that's 3x squared. We're going to plug in 1 to get the slope of the tangent line, so 3 times 1 squared is 3. And you can look at the graph and look at those tangent lines and see, hey, that makes sense. This is really steep, so that's a slope of 3. This is pretty shallow, that's a slope of 1/2. All right. So let's keep going through the assignment. All right. So number 3, we have y is equal to 3. So that's the constant rule, so y prime is equal to 0. Number 5, f of x is equal to x plus 1. Now, what's the derivative of x? So f prime of x, well, this is the same as 1x to the first power. So to do the power rule, it would be 1 times 1, which is 1, then x to the 0. Okay, so the derivative of that would be 1 times 1, x to the 1 minus 1. That's going to be 1x to the 0. X to the 0 is 1, so that's just 1. So f prime of x is 1. And then derivative of 1 is 0. Right, number 7, g of x is x squared plus 4. So g prime of x, the derivative of x squared, bring the 2 out front, is going to be 2x to the first power. We don't have to write the 1. And then the derivative of 4 is 0. So g prime of x is just 2x. Number 9, we have f of t is equal to negative 2t squared plus 3t minus 6. Okay, f prime of t. 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. T to the first power, 2 minus 1 is 1, don't have to write that. Plus, remember the derivative of 3x is just 3, it's just the coefficient, so 3t would be 3. The derivative of negative 6 is 0. Number 11, s of t equals t cubed minus 2t plus 4. So s prime of t cubed, the derivative would be 3t squared, right? 3 times t, and then 3 minus 1 is 2, 3t squared, minus 2. Derivative of 2t is just 2. And then derivative of 4 is 0. Okay, let's see. Can we fit 13? I'm going to try. So 13y is equal to x squared minus 1/2 cosine x. The derivative of x squared would be 2x. The derivative, so that'd be minus 1/2 times the derivative of cosine is minus sine x, isn't it? So y prime, cleaning this up, would be 2x plus 1/2 sine x. All right, going good. Let's take a moment to erase. And we'll hit number 15. Right, 15, we have y is equal to 1 over x minus 3 sine x. Well, you want to rewrite 1 over x as x to the minus 1. So y prime then is going to be negative 1 times x to the minus 2, and then derivative of sine is cosine, so minus 3 cosine x. So cleaning that up, that's going to be negative x to the minus 2 minus 3 cosine x. And remember, we have to change that negative exponent to a positive, so that's negative 1 over x squared minus 3 cosine x. So on that one, I had quite a bit of cleaning up to do. Okay, 17. We have y equals 1 over 3x cubed. Now I want to rewrite that. That's going to be 1/3 x to the minus 3. Remember, I'm going to bring that x cubed up top. I like to write it with the fraction out front. So y prime, we're going to bring negative 3 times 1/3. That's just negative 1, isn't it? So that would be negative x to the minus 4. All right, subtract 1 from negative 3. Sometimes people accidentally add and make it negative 2, but no, we're subtracting. Negative 3 times 1/3 is negative 1. We need to clean that up into negative 1 over x to the 4th. All right, brilliant. Let's see, 19. I think 19 I'm going to need a little more space. Okay, 19. So I've got y equals 1 over 3x all cubed. So you have to be a little careful with this one. To rewrite that, that's the same as 3x to the negative 3rd power. All right? That's the same as, you know, I'm gonna do this a little different. Sorry about that. 3 cubed is 27, right? So this is the same as 1 over 27x cubed. If I go ahead and expand that. Now I can rewrite that as 1 over 27 times x to the minus 3. All right, that's a little bit easier way to think about that. So then now we can take the derivative. Y prime is negative 3 over 27 times x to the minus 4. That's the derivative. We multiplied negative 3 times 1 over 27 and subtracted 1 from the exponent. But now we have to clean it up. 3 over 27 is the same as 1/9, right? So that's negative 1/9 x to the minus 4. And finally, to get that exponent positive, that's negative 1 over 9x to the 4th power. Okay, 21. We've got y equals root x over x. I'm going to rewrite this as fractions, fractional exponents. So that's x to the 1/2 over x to the 1st power, which is going to be x to the 1/2 minus 1, right? 1/2 minus 2/2. So that's the same as x to the negative 1/2. So root x over x is the same thing as x to the negative 1/2. Now let's use the power rule. So we just want to rewrite it to our advantage. So that's negative 1/2 x to the minus 3/2. How did I get minus 3/2? Well, negative 1/2 minus 1 is negative 1/2 minus 2/2, which is negative 3/2. So to clean that up, make the exponent positive, that's negative 1 over 2x to the positive 3/2. So let's not forget about that negative 1 that stays on top. Okay, we're cooking along here. This is why in Algebra 2 and Pre-Cal I did so much work with exponents, so that when you got here, you'd be good with them. So hopefully that's true. All right, we're finding the value of the derivative at the indicated point on this. So that's really just means we're taking the derivative and plugging in the x value. So f of x equals 1 over x. I'm going to rewrite that as x to the minus 1. So f prime of x is going to be negative x, bring that negative 1 out front, to the minus 2, which is the same as negative 1 over x squared. So f prime, we're plugging in the x value, not the y value, so that's 1. Of course, they're both the same. That's negative 1 over 1 squared, which is negative 1. That's also the slope of the tangent line. Okay, and the value of the derivative at the indicated point. 25, we got negative 1/2 plus 7/5 x cubed. All right, f prime of x. And our point that we're interested in is 0, negative 1/2. So we're just going to plug in 0, so this should be pretty easy when we take the derivative. The derivative of a constant is 0, and then this would be 21. 3 times 7/5 would be 21 over 5 x squared. But when we plug in a 0, f prime of 0 is just going to be 0. 27. All right, we've got y is equal to 2x plus 1 all squared. Okay, I've got a rule to show you how to do this, but first, we don't know that rule yet, so let's FOIL this out. So y is equal to 2x times 2x would be 4x squared. And then we've got plus 2x, so plus 4x plus 1. So y prime is going to be 8x, because 2 times 4 is 8, minus 1, plus 4. Therefore, y prime of, what's our point on this problem? It's 0. Our x value is 0. That's going to be 8 times 0 plus 4, which is 4. All right, not too bad. My stand that holds my iPad up, I've got it too close to my table, which is making that bumping sound, so I hope that's not driving you too crazy. I'll try to get that fixed before the next video. All right, number 29. F of theta is equal to 4 sine theta minus theta. And again, we get to plug in a 0. Okay, f prime of theta. What's the derivative of sine? It's cosine, so that's 4 cosine theta. And then derivative of theta would be the same as the derivative of x, and that'd be 1, right? Because that's the same as theta to the first power, so it's 1 times theta to the 0 power, which is just 1. So f prime of 0, that's a terrible 0, is 4 times the cosine of 0 minus 1. The cosine of 0 is 1. That's 4 times 1 minus 1, which is 3. All right, we are cooking. 31. So I hope you don't mind this. This is a little more mindless than all the algebra we had to do in the previous section. So f of x, we're just finding the derivative, x cubed minus 3x minus 2x to the minus 4. So they cleaned it up for us already and rewrote it. So f prime of x, the derivative of x cubed would be 3x squared, and then minus the derivative of 3x is 3, and then this would be plus negative 4 times negative 2 is positive 8, x to the minus 5. So that's 3x squared minus 3 plus 8 over x to the 5th. Okay, 33. We have g of t is equal to t squared minus 4 over t. I'm going to rewrite that as t squared minus 4t to the minus 1. So g prime of t would be 2t plus negative 1 times negative 4 would be plus 4t to the minus 2. Let's clean that up. That's 2t plus 4 over t squared. All right. We're on probably the last third of this video. So we are on 35. 35 is a good one. It's f of x, I've had students mess this up, is equal to x cubed minus 3x squared plus 4 over x squared. Now we can divide that x squared. We can rewrite this. Now I'm going to do an extra step here. This is the same as x cubed over x squared minus 3x squared over x squared plus 4 over x squared. Now I usually do that part in my head, but that's going to be x cubed over x squared reduces to just x. Then the x squareds cancel out, minus 3, and then that's the same as 4x to the minus 2. So now we can take the derivative. What's the derivative of x? It's 1. The derivative of negative 3 is 0. And then this would be minus 8x to the minus 3. So getting rid of that negative exponent, that's 1 minus 8 over x cubed. Okay, 37. f of y is equal to x times x squared plus 1. So y is equal to, let's distribute the x, that's x cubed plus x. So no problem, y prime would be 3x squared plus the derivative of x is 1. All right, brilliant. These are great. 39. H of s is s to the 4/5. So h prime of s, it's 4/5. I'm going to do a little extra step here. Times s to the 4/5 minus 1. So 4/5 minus 1 is equal to 4/5 minus 5/5. So that's negative 1/5. So write it out like that if you need to. H prime of s is equal to 4/5 times s to the negative 1/5. We still need to clean that up into 4 over 5s to the positive 1/5. So we're bringing that s to the negative 1/5 down to the denominator to make it positive. All right. 41. I took a lot of space for that one. We have f of x is equal to 4 root x plus 3 cosine x. I'm going to rewrite that as 4x to the 1/2 plus 3 cosine x. And now it's easy. F prime of x, 1/2 times 4 is 2, and then subtract 1 from 1/2, that'd be x to the minus 1/2, and then plus 3 times the derivative of cosine is negative sine x. So we're going to clean that up a little bit. That's 2 over x to the 1/2 minus 3 sine x. Okay, 2 over, I know that's messy, x to the 1/2. My pen is, after I use it, it gets fatter and fatter. The point does, and I have to write bigger so that it's not smudgy. Okay, 43. So this says find the equation of the tangent line. Now we did that in section 2.1, so you should remember how to do that. We just have to get the slope, and we know the point. We can do it. So y is equal to x to the 4th minus 3x squared plus 2, and the indicated point is 1, 0. So we need to get the derivative. That's 4x cubed minus 6x. 4 times x, and then subtract 1 is 3. 2 times 3 is 6, subtract 1 would just be x, and the 2 goes away. The slope is going to be y prime of the x value, which is 1. So that's 4 times 1 cubed minus 6 times 1. So that's 4 minus 6, negative 2. So we have our point, and we have our equation of the tangent line be y minus y1, 0, is equal to negative 2 times x minus 1. That is fine with me for the answer. But that's going to be, if the back of the book might put it in slope-intercept, the 0 would go away, equals negative 2x plus 2. So that might be what the back of the book says. For testing purposes, the point-slope form is completely fine with me. All right, so let's do number 45. And I don't know if I'll fit this in or not, so I'm going to erase. Okay, we have f of x is equal to 1 over the cube root of x squared. Now we want to rewrite that as 1 over x to the 2/3, which is going to be x to the minus 2/3. So we rewrote it so we can use the power rule. So f prime of x is going to be negative 2/3 x. Now what's negative 2/3 minus 1? Negative 2/3 minus 3/3. That's negative 5/3. Right? So x to the negative 5/3. And to clean that up, that's negative 2 over 3x to the positive 5/3. So our slope is going to be f prime of the x value, which is 8. Ugh. So that's negative 2 over 3 times 8 to the 5/3. That's negative 2. All right, 8 to the 5/3. The cube root of 8 is 2. 2 to the 5th is 32. 32 times 3 is, what, 96? 32 times 3, 96. So that's negative 1 over 48 is our slope. And so with point slope form, that would be y minus y1, which is a fourth, is equal to negative 1 over 48 times x minus 8. I am totally fine, again, with you leaving it just like that. If you want to distribute the negative 1 over 48 and then add a fourth to both sides, you'll end up with y is equal to negative 1 over 48x plus 5/12. That's maybe what the back of the book has, but I'm fine with this. Don't do all that extra work and potentially make a mistake that I have to count off. Just leave it in point slope form. All right, this video is long because I have to work a lot of problems that you might not have needed to watch, but I'll work them all anyway. 47. We've got, we want to determine the points at which there's a horizontal tangent line, so that'd be where the slope is 0. So you have y is equal to x to the 4th minus 8x squared plus 2. So y prime is equal to 4x cubed minus 16x. Okay, so we want to know where the slope is equal to 0. That would give us a horizontal tangent line. Where is slope equals 0? Well, we're just going to set all this equal to 0. 4x cubed minus 16x equals 0. Let's factor out a 4x, and I'd have x squared minus 4, right, is equal to 0. That's 4x, x plus 2, x minus 2 is equal to 0. What are the three values that would make this 0? It's x equals 0, x equals negative 2, and x equals positive 2. Okay, so if it said determine the point, so we have to get the y value. So the y values, we have to go back to the original equation. So y of 0 would be 2. Plug a 0 in. Y of negative 2 is going to be negative 2 to the 4th minus 8 times negative 2 squared plus 2. So that is negative 14. And feel free to use your calculator if you want on that, I don't care. And then y of 2 would be 2 to the 4th, so that's 16, minus 8 times 2 squared, 16 minus 32 plus 2, also negative 14. So the three values are going to be 0, 2, negative 2, negative 14, and 2, negative 14. Those are the points. The x values are what we find. Then you plug back into the original equation, not the derivative, the original equation, to get the y values. All right, that does it for this video. I hope you didn't have to watch all of them. And I will talk to you next lecture.